Hello and welcome to Watercolors by Jim Oberst. In this video, I'm going to show you how I approach painting a Thames sailing barge. The video doesn't go all the way to the end of the painting, but I think it goes far enough so that you'll understand how I go about doing this sort of painting. Here's my watercolor paper ready to go. It's got a simple drawing of the barge. After doing that, I wet both sides of the paper and then dried the front side. This helps to avoid getting hard edges when one does a large wash. But drying the top allows you to still hold some hard edges on the details that you paint. Okay, the first thing I'm doing is with a large soft brush wetting the entire paper, except for some very small areas where I want to save the white. Then I can put in the sky and be assured that it will be soft and will bleed. I've used some blue and some purple. I'm working my way down the paper. I usually paint with my paper at an angle of perhaps 20 or 30 degrees so that the paint moves and blends well. I'm using some gentle colors in the sky. Now I'm darkening some of them. Watercolor always fades a bit as it dries, so it never is quite as dark as when you first paint it. Okay, now I'm painting the water. I'm just going through everything. What I like to do when I can is paint heaven and earth first. That is the entire sky and ground. Perhaps saving a few little white spots, but this gives you a good start on the painting. Next, I'm lifting a little bit of the color in the water by the barge so that I'll be able to show some foamy water there without using any white watercolor or gouache. I'm putting in some indications of waves and swells while the paper is wet so that they'll become soft and blend. I have to keep lifting that watercolor because it keeps coming back. Okay, now I'm clipping the paper and I'm going to dry it with a hair dryer so that I can start working on some of the details now that heaven and earth is taken care of. I touch it with the back of my hand to tell if it's really dry. Okay, now for the background. Some trees, some buildings. I don't want to be too careful with this. I just want to suggest some things. I'll be painting around a few white areas in the boat, but not many. That one right there is for the hanging lifeboat. And I just continue this across the paper. I'll be painting around the figures in the boat and a few other little things. But most of the boat is below the horizon, so that I don't have to worry about most of it. Just the people and some things that are poking up. And many of those will be darker than the background anyway, so I can paint the background and then just paint over it. Okay, a couple of large buildings. Indicate a little bit of interest on the bottom there without actually painting anything in particular. Okay, now it's time to start on the ship itself. First, I'll paint the masts. You notice that I do this freehand, and I actually try not to do it too perfectly. If you do it too perfectly, if you use a ruler and have a perfect line, it just doesn't look convincing. So just do this freehand and don't worry about the details. Now I'm going to start putting in the sails. This boat is shown under power, so the sails are folded up and just hanging from the mast and the lines. Indicate a few little twists and turns in the sails. Okay, now we'll start on the boat. I'm going to make this a dark hull so that there's a good contrast with the rest of the painting. I'm also going to leave a ragged edge by the water so that I can indicate some rough water and wake. Now I'll just start painting the interior items. There are some cabins and storage places. A little scraping to give the hull some character. I'll be leaving the top of the storage areas white because that's the way where the light winds up. Okay, painting the lifeboat. Other details on the ship. Now I'm starting on the figures. I find putting figures in a painting really gives it some life. Here's some kind of a wooden trap floating in the river. There's an anchor on the boat. Okay, well that's the end of this particular video. After this, I just finished up the details and I put a couple of lighter washes over the water to give it a little more color and depth. I hope you enjoyed this and that it was useful for you in terms of how to approach a watercolor painting. I hope you'll visit my website, jimoberst.com, where you'll find lots of my paintings, other videos, and artist tips. Also, you may want to sign up for my newsletter, which comes out monthly and is a great resource for both art collectors and artists. Thanks for watching.